So Esau, Edom, all right, is really what Revelations 13 through verse 1 through verse 15 is talking about. You know, it's really establishing the kingdoms of Esau, Edom. The 7 heads represent Edomite rulerships. All right, because we've only been under Edomite rulership for these past thousands of years. All right, and it started with the Greek, then the Romans, Germania Major, Germania Minor. You had 1,000 years that they were put away. And then you had the Renaissance, which was the rebirth of the Edomites. All right? And then you had the Spanish, the French, and the English, which are the 7. All right? And of the 7 came the 8th, which is America, Babylon the Great, which came out of England, the British. You know? So that's really what that represents, the 10 horns being the 10 nations. In 1957, the EEC Treaty, the Treaty of Rome, that was signed by 10 nations, all right? And then later on, more Edomite nations that separated became part of that treaty. Or not that treaty, but became part of that organization, you know? So Revelations 13 and 16 says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. All right? So that mark, all right, but first of all, let me go back. It says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark. All right? So that he is talking about a man. It's not talking about Mr. Antichrist. All right? It's talking about a man that has that contrary spirit of the truth. You know? So that he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, is talking about the man in rulership. So let's go to Genesis chapter 37. And Genesis 40, let me see, Genesis 37. Salakia. Bear with me. No. Salakia. It was Genesis 27. Genesis 27 and verse 37. All right. And it says, and Isaac answered and said unto Esau, behold, I made him thy Lord, talking about Jacob, and all his brethren have given to him for servants. And with corn and wine have I sustained him, and what shall I do unto thee, my son? All right. So the promises and the blessings went to Jacob, all right, which later was changed to Israel. So Esau was crying to Isaac, his father, telling him to give him the blessings as well. You know, he wanted those blessings too. So Isaac was telling him, what am I going to give you? I already gave everything through the Spirit to Jacob. Verse 38, and Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. All right, so if it was the other way around, and Esau receives a blessing, he wouldn't have told his father, hey, bless my brother also. You know, do you only have one blessing for me, not for my brother? You know, he wouldn't care about us. And even up today, he doesn't care about us, man. You know, he doesn't. Slack it. You know, so Esau, Edom, he only asked him, you know, do you only have one blessing? You don't have two, for real? You know, because he was caring about himself. He didn't care about Jacob. If we were in that predicament, he wouldn't have asked his father, hey, bless my little brother too. He wouldn't have. You know? But that was just to show his selfishness. So it says, Esau lifted up his voice and wept. But like it says in Hebrews 12, though he sought it carefully with tears, yet his heart found no place of repentance. All right, so this is Hebrews 12 and 15. It says, look diligently, lest any man fail of the grace of the Most High, lest any root of bitterness springing up trouble you, and thereby many be defiled, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. For ye know that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected. All right, so it wasn't because he was supplanted, it's because through the Spirit he was already rejected. All right, for he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears. You see, so that went all the way back to Genesis. You know, so that proves also that the apostles and elders, they were well learned in the scriptures. You know, so it says, verse 39, and Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. All right, so Esau, Edom was going to have the dominion, the earth. It was all going to belong to him, you know, and of the dew of heaven. If you collect rainwater, you're going to jail, you know, because that belongs to Esau. That belongs to Edom, not to you, you know. So it says, and of the dew of heaven from above, and by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. That means that Esau was going to have the dominion of the earth. You see? So it said, and it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion of the earth, that thou shalt break the yoke from off thy neck. All right? So when he broke that yoke off his neck, he came into power. You know? That's why for many generations, you had Esau trying to overthrow Israel, because they were waiting for their blessing. You know? Esau was waiting for their blessing. That would be a good video to get into as well. Lord willing, I could do it. You know, but if not, the Spirit will jump on another brother, man. You know, that's just how the Spirit works. It's beautiful. You know? And I noticed that. Because the past two videos I made was talking about, you know, I briefly talked about it. I didn't really go into it too much. But I talked about the endless genealogies, all right? Because the endless genealogies back then, you had to present a form, a letter, all right, proving that you were a descendant of Israel. Nowadays, you don't have to get heed to those endless genealogies. We don't tell you to present yourself as a child of Israel through endless genealogies, man. You know? Because now it's according to the Spirit. And that day, I briefly touched upon it on those 2 videos. And then the very next day, Elder Apostle Aramlab, all right, he went deep into the scriptures, bringing that word out, man. Talking about, you know, back then we used to go into genealogies and present ourselves in the book of First Chronicles. We used to present, you know, if we were Israelites, we had to present a written statement that we were Israelites. You know? But nowadays we don't have to do that. And that was all through the Spirit, man. I'm not saying I'm something special, you know, but through the Spirit, the elder was, that Spirit came upon the elder, all right, to go deep into that knowledge, you know. So that would be a good one, man, because Esau, Edom was waiting for his blessing, you know. He was waiting for his blessing, and that's why he was always trying to overthrow Israel. Because whenever he would overthrow Israel, whenever he would be more powerful than Israel, that's whenever they would have the dominion of the earth. And it didn't happen until the Greek, you know? Because the Greek put Israel into captivity, all right, by not allowing them to keep the law, statutes, the commandments, by not allowing them to worship Yahweh the Most High. All right, so they became more powerful than the Israelites in that time period, you know. So it says, and Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. You know. So according to Revelations chapter 7, the Israelites are of the descendants of Israel, all right? Of the descendants of Israel, the Israelites, 12,000 out of each tribe of the children of Israel, all right? That's talking about genealogies, but not a presentation of physical genealogies, you know? Because you could be an Israelite all day long with a presentation of all the Israelites before you. All right? You know? So, you could do that all day long, man. You could do that all day long, but that doesn't mean that you're in the truth. That doesn't mean that you're a follower of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. And that doesn't mean you're going to be saved. You see? So that's what 1 Timothy chapter 1 is really talking about with the endless genealogies. The 12th tribe chart is not an endless genealogy. All right? Yes, it's talking about genealogies. All right? It's talking about a seed line. But it's not talking to present your seed line as, all right, well, my mom's mom was Mexican, or my dad's dad was Mexican, and my dad's dad was Mexican, but my dad's dad was German, but my dad's dad was actually French, and he actually spoke Hebrew, so that is how I present myself as an Israelite. That's not what we're doing, you know? That's not what we're doing. We're doing it according to the Spirit. If you can have an ear for this truth, that's a good indicator that you're an Israelite. And that's it. You know, we don't have to go into endless genealogies, man. All right, Gentile. Because back then, you have to remember that when the Gentiles were coming in, all right, you had the Jews that were already keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. All right, the Jews at that time, they were already keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. And when the Gentiles came in, which are the Israelite foreigners, whenever they came into the truth, all right, the Jews were forcing them to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. All right? All right, prove to me you were an Israelite back then, man. You have to give me the record of your genealogy to prove to me you were an Israelite. That's what they were doing back then. All right? So when Paul spoke to Timothy, he was telling him, look, don't give heed to that shit. All right? Don't worry about all these things that they're telling you to do. Your job is to keep the faith. And as you grow in faith, all right, you're going to grow in this truth. And when you're growing in this truth, you're going to grow in knowledge, in wisdom, understanding. And you're going to be able to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments much better. All right? So that's what that was talking about. So it says, where was I going? Job 30. Let me go to Job 30. All right? Job 30. All right, so the Edomites, the Caucasians, all right, which they call themselves Caucasians. They're Caucasians for a reason, man. Because that word Caucasian means cave dweller. All right, so where does Esau, Edom originate? Mount Seir. All right, Mount Seir. You know? Because they were cave dwellers. So this is Job 30. Job 30 and 1. But now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock. Yea, whereto might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished. For want and famine they were solitary, flying into the wilderness in former time, desolate and waste. All right, in former time, desolate and waste, which was who? Esau, Edom. All right, they were desolate and waste for a period of time, but like Esau said, we will come back and build. All right, and Yahweh said, you will build and I will throw down. You see, that's the wickedness of Esau, Edom. It says, to dwell in the clefts of the valleys, who cut up mellows by the bushes and juniper roots for their meat. They were driven forth from young men. They cried after them as after a thief. All right, because Esau, Edom would go into a nation, steal their resources, and then they would call themselves the people of that land and kick off whoever was there. All right, the Greek, for instance, which in the Hebrew is Yawan, which are the children of Japheth. All right, the children of Japheth, all right, were kicked out by the Edomites, and the Edomites took over and called themselves Greek. The same thing with the Romans. They were actually Japhites, all right, of the children of Japheth. You know, and then they kicked them out and they call themselves Romans. You know? So it's happened throughout time. Same thing with the Native Americans. You have $5 Native Americans, which are actually Edomites. All right? They simply paid $5 to call themselves Native Americans so they can get benefits. You know? That's simply what it is. But then again, you had some women, all right, that were $5 Native Americans, and you had some actual Native Americans that mixed with that seed and their children came lighter, and then that child could have done the same thing, and then that child came out looking white. So he might look like a $5 Native American, but in reality, he's an Israelite, all right? So it says, to dwell in the cliffs of the valleys, to dwell in the cliffs of the valleys, and in the caves of the earth, and in the rocks. So who was that? Esau, Edom. All right. It says, among the bushes they brayed, under the nettles they were gathered together. They were children of fools, yea, children of base men. They were viler than the earth, and now am I their song, yea, I am their byword. All right. What's a byword? Beaner. All right. A nigga. A spick. Those are all bywords, man. Redskin. That's a byword. All right. We are their song. They make fun of us all day long, man. That's just how it is, you know. Scripture verifies scripture, man. So whenever it's talking about it's talking about Esau, Edom, the one that was supposed to get the rulership over us. So let me finish off with this one, and then I'll go back to Revelations. This is 2nd Esdras, a classic. All right, a classic. 2nd Esdras chapter 6 and verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. All right, so that further proves who is he that's going to bring in the end. All right, which we are in the end. According to Hebrews chapter 1 and 1, or 11 and 1, all right, it tells you that the Most High has always brought forth prophets, and in these last days has brought forth Yahushua. You know? So it says, Revelations 13 and 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. All right? So it doesn't matter who you are. This man, all right, this beast is going to bring forth a mark. All right? He's going to bring forth a mark, and that mark is going to give you the alliance with this man. You see? So that word mark there in the Greek is charagma. All right? Charagma, which is Strong's G 5480, and it means an imprinted or a carved mark. To imprint means to press on with force. All right? To press on with force. You know? That means to cleave unto. To carve means to have an incision. So that imprint, all right, that RFID chip that's going to be in your flesh, going to cleave in your flesh, is going to be put on there by an incision. All right, a carved mark, something that's carved into you. You see? So it says, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. All right? So you have to have alliance with the beast. You know? So when you have alliance with the beast, you're going to receive the mark. You know? What is that saying? An enemy of an enemy is a friend, or even a friend of an enemy is an enemy. All right? When you have one enemy, and that enemy has another enemy also, you two become close through that bond you have. All right? If that enemy has a friend, you're not going to start talking to him and become friends. All right? Because you're going to see him as an enemy if he's friends with your enemy. Unless those two friends split up, he can possibly become your friend. The same thing with this truth and with the mark of the beast. All right? If you're a friend of Yahweh, you're not going to like the enemies of Yahweh. All right? If you're a friend of the beast and you're in alliance with the beast, then you're not going to accept what we say. All right? So when that RFID chip is implemented, people are not going to take heed to us, all right? Because they're in alliance with the beast, NATO, with the EU, in alliance with Esau, Edom, the elite, the Illuminati, you know? So it says, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So nowadays, how do we buy things? All right? That part right there is not talking about a Sabbath. It's not talking about the time of Antiochus Epiphanes. That is a future prophecy. All right? And that RFID chip is how they're going to move on towards buying things and selling things. When it comes down to a personal, all right, say you want to sell your shoes, a console. Say you want to sell a TV. How are you going to keep records of that selling if not by a monetary system? All right? Because that mark of the beast is only one thing, and one thing only, and that's the RFID chip, you know? So it says, so it says, here is wisdom, all right? Here is wisdom. Let him that has understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of man, and his number is 666. All right, which in the Greek, chai shai stigma. All right, they said it added up to Nero. All right, Nero. You know, they said that was the beast, which, you know, Nero can be part of the beast because he was an Edomite, all right? And he was in the rulership of an Edomite, you know? So the number of his name is Edom, you know? Idumea. So it's going to be Edomite rulerships, you know? When you go into the blue letter, it'll tell you Nero, all right? Caesar. So the Caesars are actually Edomites because they go back to even the Khazars, all right, which are also Edomites. They had dukes, which dukes are Edomites, all right. The Duke of so-and-so, all right. When you go to the book of Chronicles, it tells you that the Edomites call themselves dukes. And they had kings before Israel even had a king. You know? Salakia. So it says, chai shai stigma. So stigma, all right, is the root word of the word stigmatus. All right, stigmatus is to stick, to prick. All right, to prick or to stick something through, you know? To stick or to prick something through. So this is Revelations 14 and 12. It says, here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of Yahweh and the faith of Yahweh Shai. Yeah, that's it right there. The commandments of Yahweh and the faith of Yahweh Shai. You know? So you still have to keep the commandments, the laws, the statutes, and they were given to Israel. You know? So this is, let me see. Matthew 5 and 17. So let me get that. Matthew 5 and 17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, and one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law, till all be fulfilled. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments, and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. And who are the great ones in the kingdom of heaven? The elect. All right? So you have to keep the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability still, man. They're not done away with. You know? So this is Micah chapter 4 and verse 4. And it reads, whew, it's getting cold out here. It's like it. Micah, Obadiah, Micah chapter, oh not Micah, Salakia. It was Malachi chapter 4 and verse 4. Remember ye the law of Moses, my servant, which I commanded unto him in Horeb for all Israel, with the statutes and judgments. All right? So we have to remember those, man. From generation to generation, over and over, we have to remember the law, statutes, and commandments. You know? So with that, let me get Leviticus 19 and 28. This is Leviticus 19 and verse 28. Ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead. You shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, all right? Which that word there, cuttings, in the Hebrew means to cut or to pierce, you know? You shall not make any cuttings in your flesh, all right? To cut or to pierce, you know? In your flesh. It says, for the dead. All right. Now, who is the dead? And who are alive and who are dead? All right. According to Ezekiel 37, those that receive the breath of life, that those that receive the breath are the ones that are going to be alive, and ye shall live. All right. So according to Wisdom of Solomon chapter 7, the breath is the power of the Most High, the wisdom. So if you receive a cutting in the flesh for the dead, it could be either literal or also spiritual, you know? If you receive a cutting in the flesh according to the spiritually dead, all right, that is against the laws and commandments of the Most High. So it says, nor print any marks upon you, I am Yahweh. So that word print means to imprint, all right, to press down with great force, all right, either by the hand or by the foot or by a device. You see? It says, neither print any marks upon you. So push down with great force. That word mark there is, what was it? Kwai, which means an incision or an imprint. All right? So you're not supposed to imprint your body and put any device inside of you, man. You know? According to the laws, according to the commandments, and according to the scripture. It says, nor imprint any marks upon you. I am Yahweh. You see, so the Most High is telling you, man. You know? So for the ones that think that it's silly, all right, to put an RFID chip inside your body, and that means alliance with Esau, Edom, for the ones that think that's silly, back then, it was already done. All right, that's something they did back then, man. You know, and to prove that, let me go to Exodus. Exodus 21. You know, simply just to prove that point. And then I'll go back and reread in verse 16 also. So this is Exodus 21. Salakia, bear with me. Salakia. Exodus 21, where is it? It's right here. Exodus 21 and Exodus 21 and verse 2. If thou buy a Hebrew servant, 6 years he shall serve thee. In the 7th he shall go out free for nothing. All right? So they try to justify us being slaves, all right, with the scriptures. But in reality, the scriptures say if he serves more than 7 years, all right, you're going off. You see? It says, if he came in by himself, he shall go out by himself. If he were married, and his wife shall go out with him. If his master gave him a wife, and she have borne him sons or daughters, the wife and the children shall be her master's, and he shall go out by himself. All right? So that was just to prove, you know, that was ancient times. All right? So here we have verse 5. If the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free, then his master shall bring him unto the judges, and he shall bring him to the door, or unto the doorpost, and his master shall bore his ear through with an awl, and he shall serve him forever. All right? So it was done in ancient times too, man. You have to pierce somebody, all right? Just like you do with animals, you pierce them in order to show that that's your property, that's your belonging. All right? That's what Esau, Edom is going to do. You know? He's going to bore you with an awl. And that word bore means to carve out. All right? And that awl is an instrument that is used to carve out. You see? So the same thing is going to happen with the mark of the beast. You know? He's going to use an instrument to bore you, all right, to carve out. And then he's going to place that thing inside of you. All right? Which in this case, it was an earring, you know? So you would walk around with an earring representing that you were owned by somebody. Nowadays, you're going to walk around with the RFID chip to represent that you're owned by Esau, Edom. You see? So that's how he's going to do it, man. So it says, Revelation 16, and the point is in verse 2. But when the makers of the RFID chip, all right, when he made it, he presented it because he said special customers were telling them to make it, all right, which those special customers were the elite, all right. When they told him to make it, all right, they tried it on animals first, all right. They kept a tracker on animals, you know. So for a long time, that's what it was. And then they said if it would work on humans, and he said it had to be modified, so that he modified it, all right, so it can work on humans. So when he made it, he realized that what he was doing, he was actually making the RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast. He was making the mark of the beast. So when he did it, he left, you know. He left and he cried and he cried and he cried, all right. But he said that many people that get that RFID chip implant, all right, since it's not perfected, you know, it would leak through. And when it would leak through, it would leave sores in the hand. You know, they would leave sores with pus. Or pus, Salakia. It would leave sores with pus. You see? Because what it contains inside. So they had to come up with new equipment to contain the things that are inside so they don't leak through to the skin. All right, but Revelation 16:1, the point is in verse 2, says that it's still going to happen either way. So it says, and I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the 7 angels, go your ways and pour out the vials of wrath of the Most High upon the earth. And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth. And there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them that worshipped his image. All right, so if you're in alliance, you're going to receive the mark either way, man. It says, and the second angel poured out the vial upon the sea, and it became as blood of a dead man, and every living soul died in the sea. All right. So that vial that's going to be poured out, all right, that wrath that's going to be poured out by the Most High, is going to cause that RFID chip to break inside your skin. And when it breaks inside your skin, it's going to pour out, I want to say it's alkaline, all right? And it causes a grievous sore to fall upon your hand, you know? So that's also going to be another sign, all right, that's going to come forth, man. The sores that are going to fall upon the people, you know, that receive that mark. See? And when that happens, it's going to be too late. You know? Your fate's already going to be sealed, man. You see? So going back to Revelation 13, I'll reread the last part, and then that'll be it. You know? So this is Revelation 13:16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. All right? So it doesn't matter who actually builds it, who makes it. The people that are going to implement it, all right, the people that are going to force you to take it are going to be the Edomites, the elite, all right, the ones that are in rulership right now. You see? So the RFID chip is the mark of the beast. So with that, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakwadash. I hope that was edifying. And to the brothers, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. And to the brothers out there, I say Shalom.